Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pro Tour Talk with Steve Dodge. I'm Steve Dodge. Today is May 2nd, 2018, and we have got a jam-packed show for you tonight. Um, Next week, we have a jam-packed show tonight, but next week we're going to bring on Jay Redding, and we're going to talk about video replay and whether or not it's a good idea in disc golf. Jay is one of the movers and shakers on the competition committee, so we should have a very good debate next week about video replay. And the reason we're having that is because someone brought up that question through the AMA on our website, dgpt.com/AMA. So thank you for that question. And that's going to lead to a more spirited debate, and hopefully something significant will come out of that. Later on tonight, we will be talking with Allen Risley, who runs the challenge at Goat Hill. And then we will talk with Drew Gibson about his great play this season and about men's tees. We've had a lot of conversation about women's tees. I had the wonderful experience of playing at the GBO, which, as far as I know, is the longest course we've played so far on tour this season. And it got me to thinking a little bit about men's tees. So we're going to bring Drew in, and we're going to talk about men's tees and figure out, is there something we should do about men's tees as well as women's tees? Maybe we've got to figure it out on both sides. So getting right to the AMA, we had four good questions. The first question is a follow-up to last week's question. Somebody asked if we were trying to take over the PDGA, and I simply gave a one-word answer of no. This week, the question was, can you please elaborate? So I will go ahead and do so. The PDGA is the governing body of our sport. They set the rules. They coordinate thousands of PDGA tournaments. They support many efforts to grow the sport at all levels, and they execute the PDGA majors. As I said, they are the governing body of our sport. They define the game. The Pro Tour executes the series of premier events across North America. We follow the rules as defined by the PDGA. We abide by the competition manual as set forth by the PDGA. We work closely with the PDGA on many topics for the top players and the top events. And one thing that I hate is when people say that things like on many topics and then don't say what any of them are, because it's kind of nebulous. So just spelling that out real quick. Things that we work on the PDGA with: scheduling, payout, disciplinary process, media, event promotion, the women's side of the game. I'm sure there's a lot more, but that's just the types of things that we talk about. And this year we're working better together than we ever have in the past. It's fantastic. Basically, so the PDGA is the governing body of the sport. The Pro Tour is working to be the tour of premier events for the touring pros with a tour championship, and help to define the concept of a season on the pro side of the game in North America. And that's what we are. And we need a governing body of the sport. And we feel that a pro side of the game is something that's also needed, and that's what we're developing. So the answer to that question is no, we are not looking to take over the PDGA. And in fact, the PDGA is a necessary part of our mission statement. It's a part of what we're doing, as they work to improve the competitive side and the competitive knowledge of the game, the knowledge of the game as a competitive sport. And that is what we're doing as well. So we are very complementary organizations. Next question. And I apologize, I didn't have a chance to look over these last three, but I'm going to run with them, and we're going to see where things go. What would be the perfect number of Pro Tour events in a season? After getting feedback from GBO, lots of players and spectators complaining about MPO playing the same course 3 times. Spectators say it is boring to watch, but the course is also a course that features the same type of shot over and over. Last question, is the Pro Tour missing out on potential fan bases in the first round by having feature cards? The cream rises to the top, and you'll always have the top pros playing in round 2 and 3. I think you would get a lot more geographic diversity in viewership if the first round was random cards. Maybe have one top pro/fan vote on feature cards and the rest random. Well, let's start with the first question. What would be the perfect number of pro events in a season? That's a great question. If you go to udisclive.com and hit schedule, I think they've got about 18 events. That includes 2 or 3 majors and I think the Remax Open. So that leaves about 14 or 15 events. Actually, I guess there's 10 Pro Tours and 6 National Tours, so 16 there. So somewhere in that ballpark would be the perfect season, I suppose. In my opinion, and I'm just one human, and we can add this to a conversation point later. In my opinion, having one course is ideal from a player's standpoint, and from a production standpoint, and from a staffing standpoint, and from an organizational standpoint. So, as far as making the event happen, having one course is ideal. Additionally, I, as a fan, really like to see, for example, hole 16 at Glass Blown. I knew that Eagle went OB on day 2. I knew he did not go. I think he played it safe on day 1. Actually, I'm not quite sure what he did on day 1. But presuming that I did know, going into day 3, there's that extra knowledge of here's how the guys played this hole in the past. So now I've got some thoughts and I've got some stats, and hopefully the commentators can speak to that. So in my opinion, having it all on one course is actually more exciting. And then I know that the players like it better as well. The women played 3 different courses. It's a valid thought and a valid discussion to determine what is the best way to do it for the Pro Tour and for the production side and the organization and the players. Ideally, we would have one course. Next question. He mentioned something about the feature card, but I didn't quite understand the last part of it, because he says perhaps in the first round, if the first round was random cards, maybe have one top pro/fan vote on feature cards and the rest random. That's actually what we do. We have 3 feature cards and the rest of it is random. So I think we're meeting what you're asking. Question 2. When will the compact Zookas ship? I've been waiting for a while. Thank you. I'm actually going to get to that in just a second. Third, what was in your bag at GBO? Trick question. I didn't have a bag. I had a cart. But I'll go ahead and say what was in it. I had a DGA Steady Ed putter. I had a Galaxy Orbit, which is a really nice mid-range putter mid-range. It's flew very straight. All the guys in my card were wondering what was that blue disc that was flying so well. It was a Galaxy Orbit. Look it up. I'll say it's a really good disc for older guys who don't have a lot of power and just want to run at the pin from 140 feet away. And my third disc was actually the Players Pack disc. It was the Explorer that they gave out to us. So I didn't bring a driver with me, so obviously when I got that Explorer, I was ecstatic, and I threw it a lot, and it was very reliable. For me, it threw about 250, 260 feet, and then faded in or hyzered in right to the middle of the fairway pretty much every time. When I forgot to follow through, it didn't fly quite as well. Going back to the when will the compact Zookas ship? Zuka actually sent me a letter this morning, and this letter will be going out to everybody that has purchased a Zuka cart. And additionally, I'm trying to, let me see if I've got a reply yet. I just sent this email probably about 15 minutes ago. I've not gotten a reply yet, but I'm trying to see if I can get this extended to anybody that purchases this by the end of tomorrow, which would be Wednesday, May 3rd. So that this letter would apply. And here is the letter that is being sent out to everybody that's already purchased a Zuka cart. First of all, thank you for your support. The compact Zukas, the first 100 are made for us. We've got about 30 of them left. So if you want to get one of the first compact Zukas, right now is a perfect time to purchase one. Good afternoon. Insert your name here. Thank you for your recent order of the Zuka compact disc golf cart, which was purchased through the Disc Golf Pro Tour. We appreciate your support of the product and the tour. This is a letter from Zuka to all of the purchasers. Due to the last minute and positive changes to the design of the bag for the compact cart, the production was delayed by approximately 1 month. We have recently been updated by our factories that these will be available to airship to us in California around the middle of May. Once they're in our warehouse, we will diligently assemble them so that we can ship your order to you. Our goal is to have these leaving our warehouse before the end of May. As a token of our appreciation for your support of the product and the DGPT, as well as your understanding regarding the delay, we here at Zuka would like to offer you a free set of fenders for the compact cart or a free putter pouch in the color of your choosing. I guess both of those are about a $35 to $40 value. And I personally would select the putter pouch unless you live on a muddy course. I know that every hole I had to reach for my putter. In order to receive your free item, please contact. So they're going to email this to you, and you have to reply and then let them know which color you would like. The colors are black, red, blue, purple, or pink. And the bags, the cart frames themselves are black, red, and blue. So it'd be pretty cool to get like a blue frame with a pink putter pocket. So anyway, and then they close by, we apologize for the delay in having your cart shipped and appreciate your patience and understanding. I look forward to hearing back from you so that we can ensure the free item is added to your cart before shipping your order. So that was a very good unplanted AMA question, and that was the answer. And if anybody has not ordered their compact Zuka cart, today is a great day to do it. I'll make sure to get you added to the list, and hopefully you'll get your free putter pouch as well. So moving on. We have a women's segment. I want to play this. I've never done screen sharing, and I'll probably remember to cut this out of the podcast version. But we have two people have asked to sponsor our women's segments, women's highlight reels. We've got 6 of these put together, so we've got 4 more available. So for $100, you could get you could look just like Paragon does on this video. Let me see if I can click screen share and then application window and then this button and then hit share and then hit this button. And I'm hoping present to everybody. There we go. All right, so that is the type of thing we're talking about. You probably couldn't see the beginning, but the beginning starts with the Paragon logo, says Paragon Presents, and then it has a bunch of highlights by Sarah Holcomb. Hello there, Drew. We're not ready for you just yet. Good to see you, though. Whoops, how do I get out of that? All right, so there we go. So if you want to sponsor something like that, we got Sarah Holcomb's going out. It went out today. Paige Pierce's will be going out next week and has a sponsor. And then we have a bunch more videos going out. We've got Katrina Allen, Jessica Weiss, Lisa Fakis, Jen Allen. And then we have a bunch of shots from other players all compiled into one piece. So if you want to sponsor any of those, just shoot me an email, steven@dgpt.com, and we will be very happy to put your company's logo in lights on a video seen by thousands of people. And with that, without any further ado, I'm going to try to pull in Allen Risley here, and we're going to see if we can get him on board. Let's see if we can unmute Allen.
Oh.
All right. Are you there, Allen?
Oh, I'm here, Steve.
Fantastic. It's great to hear you. Thank you very much.
Great to be on.
Great. So, Allen Risley, you are the tournament director of Goat Hill, the challenge at Goat Hill, and you are one of our. What's that?
Goat Hill Park. It's the challenge at Goat Hill Park.
Oh, the challenge at Goat Hill Park. My apologies.
A little rebranding.
Now, I did hear an interesting story about Goat Hill Park, and someone told me that Bill Murray was involved in the movement to save Goat Hill Park. Is that true?
I don't know if he was technically involved in the movement, but he has definitely embraced the course. He's been out here a number of times, and he very happily wears his Save Goat Hill shirt. The the course was almost closed down and turned into a soccer training camp. A bunch of us went to a city council meeting and spoke in favor of golf rather than and disc golf rather than soccer. But Bill has definitely jumped in and photobombed in a bunch of pictures out of the course, and who knows, Steve, you may run into him in a parking lot somewhere, and he'll have his Save Goat Hill shirt on.
If I do happen to run into Bill Murray in a parking lot somewhere, I will do everything in my power to pretend that I do not know who he is. I think he would appreciate that.
No, he enjoys surprising people and having them recognize them.
Okay.
He does.
No, it just seems like it wouldn't be a surprise for people to recognize him. It seems like everybody would recognize him. So when somebody doesn't recognize him, I think that would be entertaining. Anyway, but the reason that we're here today is to talk about the challenge.
We're not here to psychologically profile. Okay, let's talk about the tournament.
So we're going to talk about the challenge at Goat Hill Park. And I've just got a bunch of quick questions. First of all, thank you very much. I think that you are our very first official test event. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold this test event, or you're going to hold the test event. We're going to talk to you about how it went, and then we're going to see, is this an event that fits in with our schedule chronologically and geographically, and is it organized well enough, and do we think the pros are going to want to go and partake? So that's the idea of a test event, and if so, then we can hopefully slide you into the schedule next year and make everybody super happy. So my first question to you, Alan, when and why did this event start? Can you give us a quick little history about it?
Sure. We had a long-standing disc golf tournament on a ball golf course here in San Diego County. The baskets moved away from that golf course, and baskets came into what used to be called Center City Golf Course. When I helped co-design the course when it was put in, and immediately wanted to run a tournament here. It's a beautiful property. It is very, very challenging for disc golf. Lots of elevation changes, distance, precarious pin positions. Always win because we're less than a mile from the ocean. You can see the ocean from the fourth fairway. Yeah, 4th and 16th fairways. It's a fantastic venue, and it just had to have a tournament.
Well, I know that San Diego is one of the most beautiful places on the earth. I've only been there 2 or 3 times. One time I went out to see Mark Verocci, runs Daniel Bow, and then the next time I think I came out and played around a disc golf with you and AJ.
Yes, you played in our Cal State University San Marcos 5th anniversary tournament.
It was one of the highlights of my San Diego disc golf career.
That's good. Yeah. It's so far the only light, I guess, but
yeah, hopefully we'll change that next year.
I hope so.
So how many pros do you have playing in Goat Hill this year?
You know what? I would have to look at the registration list. I think I've got 37 on the list right now.
Okay.
And that may not be on PD. Let's see. PDGA.com says 29, but I still have an upload that I have to do.
Okay.
I've been filling some spots today. Got 14 Pro Masters, 7 Pro 50 plus guys.
Okay.
So the field's just about at 130 right now.
Okay, mostly AM.
Yeah, it's a pretty close to 50-50 split, but yeah.
Okay.
Probably mostly.
So the obvious question from that is I'll go ahead and just say it out this way, with a relatively small pro field, what makes you think that you can expand the number of players in 2019 and become a significant stop on the tour so quickly?
Oh my God. Oh, no one's ever asked me that question. Oh, no, people ask that question all the time. The issue with San Diego is that we don't have a large body of pro disc golfers who can come from all directions. Not many pro disc golfers south of us in Mexico. not too many west of us out in the ocean. Our geographic draw is kind of light, but boy, put us on the path of a tour or combination of tours that are going around the country, and the pro disc golfers will love coming to San Diego. And we have a few guys, a few tour players that will be here this weekend. Paul Ulibarri will be here. Seppo Pahu, who is part-timer on the tour. Seppo will be here. There's one other kid. What's your name?
Hi, Steve. I'll be here.
Yeah. So it's not too bad of a drive from Emporia to Oceanside on your way to Santa Cruz.
I think you nailed it right there. First of all, hey AJ, Grizzly Growl. But I think on the way to Santa Cruz and San Francisco and that West Coast swing, starting it in San Diego seems like a really nice thing. The one concern I have about San Diego is the weather. I mean, how is the weather in San Diego?
Well, we're playing the tournament this weekend. The sun is out right now. It's probably about 70 degrees right now.
Check my Instagram. I just made a pretty good post.
It's going to be 80 degrees on Saturday and about 75 on Sunday. No chance of rain. Steady wind off of the ocean. It's going to be gorgeous.
No chance of rain. That doesn't sound like a good Pro Tour stop.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah, there's no snow here like in Jonesboro. Sorry, lady.
I think Brad would have said there was no chance of snow. He wouldn't have said no chance of rain, but no chance of snow would have probably been.
There's absolutely no chance of snow here on the first weekend in May. Not a chance.
So AJ, while I have you there, I'm gonna ask both of you this question. I don't want AJ to take over because he's already been on the podcast and
and he's a hog. So
next thing you know, he's got a Grizzly Growl Facebook page and tons of people, and he's finishing top 10 at an NT.
You set that up. Is that you? No, you told me it wasn't you, and you would never lie to me. So, Facebook page.
That was not me.
Okay.
It's
on the record.
On the record, I did not even do the hashtag Grizzly Growl. But I would say if anybody likes AJ Risley, Facebook.com, right? And then type in Grizzlies.
They already.
So, but the question.
Did you see my post there?
What was your post there? Let him ask his question.
We got a strict time limit here. But so how good is the course for top pros of the sport, AJ?
It's amazing. It's amazing. The layout is great. It's a par 65, 10,000 feet. Amazing rolling hills and undulations. Like you said, the wind is a constant challenge. Every shot you might think it's a wide open ball golf style course where you're just bombing throw after throw, but we've got a good mix of 300 footers and 800 footers, and I talked about this in a Central Coast video from last year's tournament. There's a lot of holes that have somewhat of a dog leg feature. And so the placement off the tee is crucial. So it's not your typical boring wide open course. It requires a lot of thought and a lot of power and a lot of precision.
Yeah, and you do have to be careful off the tee, not so much for out of bounds, but because you need to find flat places to land. Right. There is a lot of varied terrain here. I mean, it's called Goat Hill for a reason. Right. It's not, it's not roll your baby stroller hill. It's Goat Hill. It's 40 plus floors on your Fitbit every time you play. I think that's just for 9 holes.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
Do you the event sells out very fast? You guys obviously do a very good job. Are there any extra events you guys like? The Waco has the party on the bridge. Jonesboro has
They had a like a downtown.
Oh, that's right. The party downtown at the bar.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a dry county, and we all had to become members of that bar for a night. So,
is there anything last week in Emporia?
I didn't see anything. No, that's not true. I played Cosmic Encounters one night, which was fun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Steve, I've really focused on the actual tournament, and I guess I'm no fun. I haven't put together a players party for the events in the past. I hear there's a party Saturday night at Nick Newton's house, but I'm not allowed to
Name drop.
Yeah, not allowed to invite people to that, supposedly. If we were to be on the Pro Tour, there's talk of a beer garden on site. San Diego is home to over 200 craft brewers. And I was on the phone with one of the guys this morning that runs a local brewery, and he would love to help us set up a beer garden on site, and that would be a natural party spot. And this place has a gorgeous patio. If it weren't for the glare of the beautiful setting sun, you'd be able to look at the patio right now. So it's a great setting for how far away is basket 18? It's probably 120 feet away. So you're sitting on the patio watching people finish their rounds, and so it's a fun tournament setting.
Yeah, this is a great area. If we had to, we could find some place for players and spectators alike to convene and commingle.
Yeah, and maybe find Bill Murray too.
That would be very, very good. So my final question that I have for you guys, do you have special trophies that you make? Somebody told me something about a goat, like an idol that you might worship. I don't know what this is, but I'd love to see a sample if you have one of your trophies.
Yes, the GOAT trophy.
So for those people listening on the podcast, first of all, you should watch the YouTube, because that was an amazing entrance by that golden goat. But there is a golden goat on is that cedar?
This is one of our leftovers from last year. So this is not cedar. I think this is alder, but this year's trophies are going to be cedar.
Okay, so that it's on a beautiful wooden base, and he is the king of the world as far as that goat is concerned.
Yeah. And shout out to Hudson Elliott, our goat master, who puts the trophies together. Does a fantastic job every year.
I'm not sure the term goat master is. Oh, that is definitely complimentary. Okay.
Yeah, it's meant that way.
Of course.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any last minute thoughts that you want to shout out to people? First of all, let's say, when exactly is the event?
The event is this weekend. Cinco de Goto weekend.
Okay.
May 5th and 6th, 2018, here in Oceanside, California.
Fantastic. It sounds like a great weekend. And
yeah, we're gonna have a ton of fun. Central Coast will be out to film the Sunday final round league card, and so hopefully that video will get out quickly so folks can see what the course looks like. You can look at last year's video, of course, and see what the course looks like. But we're gonna have a great weekend. It's all shaping up really nicely.
I would be remiss not to ask, do you have a title sponsor? Do you have a presenting sponsor?
We are the Challenge at Goat Hill Park, driven by Innova.
Okay, very good.
Innova has been a great supporter of my disc golf adventures, and they come through every year for this tournament. We, however, are looking for other possibilities if we need to. Like I said, we have a lot of beer people in San Diego, and
let's give Innova their proper due. They're supporting this event, our very first test event ever. Thank you, Innova, and thank you, Dynamic Disc, for putting on an amazing event last week. And with that, I look forward to. I'll say, Alan, make sure to share. Make sure to share the video when it comes out with Seth, so we can share it with all of our friends and fans on Facebook.
Absolutely.
Okay. Fantastic.
All right, Steve.
Thank you to both of you guys, and have a great evening.
All right, thanks. We will.
Bye, Steve.
Goodbye, all. And let's see if we can do this and then this. Fantastic.
You replaced me with a goat.
So with that, I'm going to cut over to Drew Gibson. Drew got second place at the GBO. Congratulations, Drew. How are you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
Oh, I can't hear you. Do I have you muted?
How about now?
Drew, are you muted?
I don't think so. Can you hear me now?
I can't hear you.
I can hear you.
Let me try this. How about now?
I can hear you.
I can't hear you, though. Oh, wait, let me try this button. Okay, how about now?
How about now?
Yeah, there we go. All the people listening on the podcast will not have any idea what just happened, so let's pretend that didn't happen. Hello, Drew. How are you doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. It's nice to see you and hear you. And congratulations on your great finish at GBO.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
How did that feel to you? I assume that's your highest finish at an elite, at a premier event.
Yeah, I got third at Memorial before.
Okay. You came on the scene 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know how old I am, actually. 4 years ago. And when you came on, you were a young, hot, fresh face. You could throw really far. And it was sort of like a boom. Who is this guy? Came out of nowhere. Is that when you got third at the Memorial? Is that your first big finish?
Yeah, that was like my first, the year before that at the same tournament I played amateur.
Wow. Okay. So how long have you been playing?
I started in 2011.
Okay. What sport did you play before this?
Baseball.
Okay. You obviously have tremendous power, and I'll go ahead and say that I personally know that your mental game is with it. You are whether people like it or not, you are a thinker, and you go ahead and say your opinions, which in my opinion is a positive. So I thank you genuinely. You and I've had a lot of really good, deep conversations about promises that I make and whether it's a good idea to keep them. And thanks to you, I decided it is a good idea. And then also just the direction that the Pro Tour should take in general. And we've had very good conversations. I thank you for all of your tremendous input and for your contrarian attitude. And you're not afraid to say it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate everything you guys do. I always, try to be very thankful to you guys and the event directors without you guys, there wouldn't be us. Without us, there wouldn't be you guys. So, we're a big team at the end. So if we can all work together and make it better, that's the goal. At least for me, if we can help you and you can help us at the end, it's going to be good.
I agree with you entirely. And you're 100% right. Without you guys, we couldn't do what we do. And without us, not as many of you would be able to do what you do.
Yeah, no, you're right. And that's why I try to facilitate and help where I can, or at least give my opinion, because I feel like most of my opinions aren't based off of me. It's based off what I think would be better for the event or for the tour. So I try to voice things that I think will help everybody, you guys as well.
Absolutely. And I'll go ahead and say, I don't know for sure. This is one thing I didn't look up, but I think you might be the only person to have played every Pro Tour event. Does that sound right?
That sounds right.
Okay. So if anybody else out there that has played every Pro Tour event, you can raise your hand, but I have a feeling you're the only person that's done it. Who else even could have? Maybe Jeremy Colling?
Since I've been playing on tour, I've only missed one national tour as well.
Wow. Okay.
And that was Beaver State Fling last year. Derek Billings and I were going to go. Some stuff came up. It was pouring rain. We just didn't go. But I've been every single national tour, every single Pro Tour for the last, long time now.
I take off my hat. I thank you very much. Yeah. And hopefully the fans recognize that. Hopefully they support you for your consistency. Now, you've been on tour for 4 years. One thing that I really like to do is I like to ask people, can you tell me one really entertaining story just from your travels that maybe gets to let people know a little bit about who you are, or just something that was really entertaining that happened to you while you're driving along on the tour?
Well, I happened to go the wrong way for about 6 hours one time.
6 hours?
Yeah, it was a long ways.
That's 6 hours is like through most of New England.
We went a long way. We woke up in Kentucky. We played a tournament. Me, Don Smith, and Yuli were in the car.
Okay.
We woke up. We got in the car. You know, we drove 6 hours, tank of gas. We got so we were like on the so we were on the border of Kentucky, right? So we wake up in the morning. Like I said, drive 6 hours. We're like, we're going to USDGC. So every day matters at that point.
You're actually going to San Diego, but
yeah. When I drive, we go the wrong way.
Right.
So we get in the car, we drive 6 hours, whatever. We stop and eat. Well, I was like, hey, I'll drive. Paul was on the phone, I think, with Prodigy or something. Don was in the back seat playing Clash of Clans, so they were very little help to me. And so I get to the point where it's like right or left, and Paul had the GPS on his phone. So I'm like, hey, what way do I go? And Paul just goes, oh, turn right. Okay. Well, I turned right. Paul had been on the phone for an hour, maybe passed out. Something happened. Don had passed out in the back seat. So I just was, and before when he got on the phone, hey, am I going the right way? Yeah, you're fine. Okay, well, I just keep on driving while I'm like, hey, Paul, we need to get gas. We need to pull over. And he wakes up, and we drive past the Welcome to Kentucky sign. It was literally we literally stopped and got gas and just ended up going the wrong way. And no one, I was just driving.
Yeah.
And they were asleep or whatever, not paying attention. So literally, I woke Paul up and I was like, hey, find us a gas station, And literally, as we passed the Kentucky, he looked at me and goes, and I was like, dude, I don't know what just happened. But we sat in the car for 12 hours and ended up staying in the same hotel we stayed in the night before.
That was where I was headed. Did you stay at the same hotel?
I think we did. Or I think we maybe started at Scott Reef's house. And then we left and then came back to town, and it was so late at night that we just got a hotel. But we were within probably 4 miles where we started 12 hours later in the car.
12 hours later.
But
I hate to...
Yeah, Yuli, we got in the car, and like I said, he's like, oh yeah, turn right or whatever. And I was just like, okay, turn right. And he's like, all right, well, by the time the next thing you gas, you're gonna hit Cherry Road, where USDGC is. And I'm like, okay, well and literally I was like, hey, find us a gas station. And literally, welcome to Kentucky. I was like, oh man, I'm like, this is brutal, dude.
The drive the next day is much shorter though.
It's the same.
It's another 12-hour drive, or is it?
Well, like I said, I think we were by the time I would have been done with my tank of gas, we would have been there. So
right.
It's 2 tanks of gas. So
okay.
But it felt a lot longer because I felt bad for everybody that we had to all do it again.
The whole way. That's like a little Groundhog Day.
I think I actually ended up paying for the hotel and all the tanks of gas to get there and everything, because I was like, hey guys, it's not all my fault, but I was the one driving us the wrong way for a very long time.
We had an expression in Fredericksburg. It went a little something like this: you suck, you lose. And
I sucked and lost.
Exactly. So I'd love to talk about how the fact that you're playing great this year. I think you're in the top. I know you're in the top 10 in points, on tour points, on the pro tour. I don't know where you are on the national tour, but you're playing great, and it's really nice to see you up there consistently. I know at GBO you got second, and part of the reason I wanted to have you on here is I want to talk about men's tees. And was GBO just a bomber course, and that's why you did well? The answer to that is no. But everybody that did well seemed to be a bomber. The reason I say that is not why you did well is because at Waco, I think you finished top 5. Is that true? Okay. So, and Waco is by no means a bomber course. So that is not what defined, that's not the reason that you did well here.
Well, my worst finish of the year this year is at Jonesboro, which is a bomber course.
Yes, absolutely. So
I mean, that's the thing. I think that it's hard to say why someone didn't play good, whatever. I mean, look at Garrett Gerthy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's arguably one of the farthest throwers, accurate throwers. I mean, he's played great all year. Then he goes out to the place everyone's like, oh yeah, throw far. Then he gets 30th place or whatever he got, and he's kind of the anomaly there, maybe.
Right.
But, I mean, I just think that it's not about – just like you said about Waco. James Conrad throws a 400-foot dead straight putter shot. Should he win every single tournament in the woods? No.
he would theoretically he would have an advantage,
Yeah.
but that
Yeah, you
doesn't
have an
mean you're going to
advantage,
win.
but that doesn't
Yeah,
mean. I mean, that's like Paige Pierce has an advantage.
correct, correct.
I mean,
And I assume you're saying that because she throws the farthest.
yeah, I mean, besides for like Jennifer Allen, I think Paige consistently throws the farthest golf shots over and over and over again.
Yeah,
And
golf
so I would think
accuracy,
that,
right?
yeah, and to me, I tell this to people all the time because yeah, I throw far, but I have control. So I have more of an advantage. I honestly feel like in the woods, because if we're playing a 600-foot hole, right, I'm going to throw it 550 feet, have a 50-footer. You're going to throw it 300 feet, 300 feet, get the same score as me. But if I throw in the woods and I'm throwing a T-bird or a rock 400 feet dead straight and the disc is landing flat, that's not going to skip, and you're having to throw your lace or whatever you throw, now your disc is going to have action, skip, roll, whatever, to mine just landing out of steam flat with a slow disc. I think my distance gives me more of an advantage in the woods if I execute my shots than it does in the wide open.
I don't agree with you entirely, but I do agree with you. With you, you have an advantage if you can throw farther. You have an advantage because you can disc down.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's 100% right. But if the hole is 600 feet, you have an additional advantage as well if you can throw close to 600 feet.
But like think about like hole 6 and hole 7 at Maple Hill. Throwing a slower disc on those holes from the gold is way more beneficial than someone who has to throw a faster disc.
For sure. Yeah. And that's let's use that and segue to the topic at hand, which is I guess first of all, I'll say in my opinion that course was very well designed. The first hole, if you could throw far, you could get the birdie, but to get the eagle, you had to be aggressive and bring par or worse into play. Perfect example of risk and reward. I loved it. And a lot of the course was that way. So it was not just a straight distance shot. It was distance with accuracy. Does that seem correct?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of the shots that I threw that whole week were, if you do a straight line from the tee pad to the basket, I was within, 10, 15 feet of that line either way.
Yeah.
So,
presuming there wasn't an OB there. Yeah.
No.
Okay. But the course was 11,000 feet, and I know Jonesboro was 10,500 feet or so. So we had two courses in a row that were very long courses. And I'll go ahead and use this word, and it might be misplaced, but I'm going to use it now because this is a new concept for me. One concern that I have is an easy way to make a course more challenging is to make it longer. And in my opinion, that's not necessarily the right way to make a course more challenging. In the same way that I'm arguing we should have women's tees because I want the women to play golf as opposed to playing distance driver, upshot putt. I want them to play golf, so they have distance drivers, they have fairway drivers, use mids off the tee, so they have a variety of shots. I want to make sure the men's game doesn't creep up to that point either. Does that seem like a valid concern of mine, or am I just yelling wolf a little bit too early here?
I think it's a mixture of both. I think that you're maybe yelling wolf too early. But I can hear myself.
In a good way?
Like I can hear my echo. Oh, it went away. Okay.
Okay.
So anyways, I don't think you're crying wolf too early, but here's a good example. Like me and Max Nichols per se, we're around the same rating, around the same, whatever. But I feel like on a distance drive, I throw it 200 feet farther than Max Nichols does. But does that mean that we're not rated the same? We're not gonna shoot the same? Like it's so hard to say what distance is gonna do because just like kind of Garrett showed, you can be the farthest, most accurate thrower and still not play well.
Absolutely. However, on that course, if you couldn't throw 500 feet, then you pretty much couldn't score well, or it really limited your ability to score. If you couldn't,
yeah. I mean, I don't even know what you did on hole 18.
I threw over the ball golf green tee.
Yeah, over to the right.
I threw over to the right. It was a great New England woods shot. So I
Yeah,
threw it
no,
that green, and I got up there, and I had about a 60-foot approach for my four on day 2 or 3,
yeah, I don't know.
which was
It's
great for me.
hard for me to say because I think that it going to ball golf style in a bigger course and everything like benefits the visual. Like I was out there, I wasn't on like this feature card, the lead card, or whatever the first day, and I was out there and like I finished our round, and I think the lead card was on hole 6 or 7, and I remember standing there and being like, "Wow, like that's impressive." Like there was 1,000 people out there watching the first round of this tournament,
Right.
and if you do that at Idlewild, you can't fit those people out there, so.
Right.
And so I just think that like for the game, it's gonna have to start going to more room at least. But if you design country club and now you say, oh, well, we're gonna shorten it way up, now people are gonna go, oh, this isn't even fun. There's gonna be a bunch of 400-foot hyzers for me, flex shots for the next person because oh, it's getting too long, But it's like I don't know where to draw the line. I'm more like when it comes to like the distance, I'm more towards the top than the middle. So I'm obviously a little biased towards like I throw far, I throw pretty accurate. So I like having the long course to show my skills and like utilize my talent instead of it's probably the same way. Like I traveled with Kat for 4 years. I mean, Kat was like, well, why am I getting my advantage taken away because these other girls can't so and so do it? And that's not her exact words, but I mean, I'm paraphrasing here,
Sure.
but it's like why exactly the same thing. How come I would be losing my advantage of working hard and being able to throw far and accurate because it's not good for these X people?
Well, as you said, you were not actually taking your advantage away. If you can throw really far, then you're throwing a mid when I'm throwing a distance, and that is in fact an advantage because you
Yeah,
can.
but if you're flexing your boss every hole and getting the same score as me, who's throwing a calculated T-bird shot, it's still losing my advantage. Like if you're landing your boss perfect every time, I know me throwing far, I'm just disking down hole after hole after hole after hole and not gaining that advantage. If we're both
Well, okay, so that is where okay, so if every hole is for us to be even, it would have to be 300 feet, but theoretically make them all 400, 450 feet, then in fact you do lose your advantage because every hole I'm throwing a boss and you're throwing a T-bird, and if I can do my boss well, then I win. We tie.
yeah,
But,
and that's what I'm saying. Like and now you have a 550-foot hole that I have potential to reach for say, and just it's like hole 8 at Country Club.
Yeah.
That hole is like that's a distance like that. I have an advantage on that hole because a lot of people who can't throw far enough aren't trying to go that hyzer. Well, right. I can throw a spike hyzer and spike it on the basket. So if I'm willing to risk it, I can gain a stroke on the guy that only throws 400 feet every single time. So because he can't even throw the shot to get there.
The question is going to be, what's the right balance? And traditionally,
I think the country club has the right balance personally for the top players, for the people that are 1,000 and above or 990, whatever. I don't know what we consider touring. 990, like what? I mean, I almost won the away when I was 999 rated, so I'm a little more biased towards like because people say, oh, if you're not Chuck Kennedy, I think if you're not 1020, you're not good. Like I think he said that before, but I don't think that. But it is what it is. So 990 and above, I think that echelon of players, which is what the pro field is, can play country club efficiently.
Absolutely. However, I'm going to go ahead and say if you can't throw 500 plus, you realistically didn't have a chance at winning that tournament.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with you on that one. I mean, but hole one, I think only throwing 500 feet or less, 500 feet, so say 450, you can birdie hole one, right? I don't want
to go through that, but you can go ahead and say, Steve, I don't quite agree, but I understand your point.
No, I do. I get your point, but I'm just saying, like, I don't think that it's as dramatic. I think if someone were to sit there and count the holes of 450 at a time accurately and making a good putt or making an inside the circle putt, I think it would be probably. We only shot 26 down for the tournament, or Eagle shot 25. Okay. I think that you can go out there and throw 450, 450, 450, 450 all day, and probably get pretty close to that.
Right, and that doesn't allow for any errors. But my overall point is, so this is, in my opinion, this is about as far as I'd want to see a golf course go. And we have other courses that, like at Vegas, one of the courses was a little over 7,000 feet. Same with Memorial. I think the Fountain course is 7,000 feet, and other courses come in from 8,000 to 10,000 feet, and then you have Jonesboro at 10.5, and you have GBO at 11. So I love the variety that we have, and I think it's critical that we have that variety. What I'm afraid of, and I just want to know if you think is it a valid fear, is people are going to see this type of course and think, "Ooh, they had 11,000 feet. I want to go to 12,000 feet. I want to go to 12.5." And then the game really does change, and we are losing. We're doing the exact same thing to the men that I'm afraid we're doing to the women right now, which is we're saying if you're not in the top 10% of distance throwers, you shouldn't be on tour. That's basically what I feel like we used to be saying to the women. And I don't want to do that. And I don't want to do that to the men either. Is that a valid fear?
Yeah, I mean, that's a valid fear, but if you compare it to traditional golf, it's the same thing. If you're not hitting a 300 something foot drive in the middle of the fairway, you're getting left behind.
I feel like the variance in our distance is much larger, and maybe it shouldn't be. But maybe again, we're a relatively new sport, and perhaps in 5 or 10 years, everybody will be able to throw 550, and this point will be moot.
I think that there's more people, like I go, do clinics all over, go to new courses all the time. I think there's more and more locals where I'm like, wow, that was impressive. Like that's far than I ever have before, like this year.
Okay.
Like everywhere I've been this year, it's like I see some random guy I've never seen before throwing this hyzer over the trees, where I was like, whoa, like I didn't even think of that. Like I'm like, holy, how'd you do that? Like what even, it's like I just think that the discs are getting faster. The discs are getting, I just think like people are starting to take disc golf as more of a sport and less of like a weekend activity. So it's going to be more people throwing it farther and farther. And like you said, I think now you do have a valid point or a valid worry, but I think as your goal at the Disc Golf Pro Tour is to make the game up here.
Yeah.
And I think we're here in the middle, but I think as we get to here where your goal is, I don't think that, it's going to be much of an issue if someone's out there throwing it. Like I think more people are going to be able to do Simon Eagle, me, Alex Geisinger, Kevin Jones. Like I think more people are going to be able to do that.
That's a really interesting point, and basically saying, hey, Steve, right now it might be a concern, but the sport's evolving. The players inside the sport are evolving. As they evolve and distance just becomes a default value of 500 plus, this whole question goes away. And if you can only throw 400, 450, you're probably not going to be one of our elite players unless you can throw it in from 90 feet.
Oh, and that's the thing. And that's where I have a tough time with the men's tees, women's tees, who we short them longer. It's like, if you can't make, 3 out of 10 or, 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10 from the 3-point line in the NBA, you're not going to be a 3-point shooter. Sorry, buddy. You go sit the bench. If you can't hit 300 in baseball, you're not going to be one of the top. You're not going to be in the MLB. So it's like we're trying to cater to these people that shouldn't be on tour, but we're trying to what about them? It's like, well, are we trying to grow the sport for these top guys and showcase this? Or are we trying to worry about in 5 years where it won't even be a big deal? And that's why like the girls, at some point, I think that the tees might get too short for them. I see some of the holes and I'm like at hole 18 at Memorial at Vista, I was just like, that they're throwing a 200-foot shot over this water.
No, it was 300, I think. But I'll go ahead and say I understand your concern. We want to make sure we don't go too short. But in my opinion, I'll go ahead and say that they did a test event with some shortened tees, and on hole 18 at Memorial it was very short. And I'll go ahead and say too short for the women, but they corrected it for the Pro Tour event, which was the Memorial. I'm going to check real quick. Hole 18 at Vista was 282. So, and for the men, that hole is 381. So I'll go ahead and give that to you. I think that hole maybe should have been 310 to 320.
Yeah, I'm saying it should be farther. You shouldn't make it to where the elite girls are just tossing a mid-range over there, but then you're making it to all the other girls. It goes back to the whole, well, if the XYZ girl in 50th place can just chunk her fastest driver up there and land there, you're taking the advantage away from whoever else that is having to throw the shot.
So the interesting thing, that 282-foot hole, there were 3 birdies, and I'll just do the top top dozen ladies, rather than including everybody. There were 3 birdies out of 12, which actually seems like a really good number. And then, but there was only 1 bogey. And interestingly, that was Paige Pierce. So maybe she was trying to do something funny in that last round. But that 3 out of 12
I mean,
seems like a really good number.
I just think there's a fine line.
And that's it's very good that we talk about it and that we're aware of it. And unfortunately, I'm up against a time bubble here, so I'm going to have to say thank you very much. I think this was a great conversation starter, and I bet we have this conversation for the next couple of years as we get more data and as the players evolve.
Yeah, no, and hopefully whatever the choice is, I'm okay with. And like I told you before, I support whatever you want to do. So if it is making them shorter, then it is. But like I said, I think at a certain point, we're going to go down to the shorter level, then the game is going to surpass that. And then we're going to have to go back to where we were.
Yeah, to be honest, I wouldn't say we need to make it shorter. I would say I don't want to make it longer or not much longer because I feel
what
like
the distance on Eureka Lake is?
No.
I feel like that course is ginormous.
I don't know the distance. I only went through GBO and then I knew Maple Hill just because I know it.
Okay.
So I just did the first. So Vegas is 7,000 and 9,000. Memorial 7,000, 8,500. Waco is 8,000. Jonesboro is 10,005. And Maple Hill is 8,500.
I just got to imagine that Eureka's big. And last year, Josh Anthony won the tournament, and he only throws at 450 feet.
I will bet that Eureka's under 10,000.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's still big. I mean, it's still a big
course. All of these courses are pretty big.
Well, I mean, like Vista at Memorial isn't very big at all.
Vista's coming in at 8,400 feet. You know what the difference? At Maple Hill's 8,500 feet, but Maple Hill has tight woods. Yeah. So there's a
I'm saying it feels bigger when you're having to hit a gap that's 10 feet wide versus when you can throw the disc like this. And
so triple Mandos.
Perfect.
Drew, thank you very much. I hope you have a great night and keep up the great work on tour.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'll see you soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you all very much. This has been a wonderful edition of Pro Tour Talk. Thank you very much to Allen Risley. Thank you very much to Drew Gibson. And we will see you next week when we talk with Jay Redding about video replay in disc golf. Good night, everybody.